we're always getting asked about different styles and brushes and what do they do, what's the difference in the shapes, what do you use them for. So I'm going to give you a little quick overview. So first off, we're looking at a bright. A bright is good for laying in colors, used flat or on the edge, and it creates visible strokes when you do it. This is a synthetic connoisseur beautiful brush. Next is a flat, and you'll notice beside it, these are the same size brush. This has shorter bristles, the bright has shorter, the flat is longer. It's good for laying in colors, blends, glazes, or covering large areas. Beautiful brush. Next is a fan. A fan is used to blend colors, soften edges and texture in portraits and landscapes. I use it in my abstracts too because it can give soft little strokes. You can use it for a variety of things, hairs, grasses, all that kind of stuff. Next is a filbert. It produces rounded shapes or broad marks with a soft edge, because see how rounded that is compared to where if you were to use a bright, how the difference it would be. And you have to think about that when you're playing with your paint, like what kind of effect do you want, and that's the brush you should use. The filbert also comes in broader and in a softer, which is the golden sable. This is with a hog's hair, so hog's hair always gives you a brush stroke, which I love. Some people don't like that, so then you'd want to go more to a softer. Next is a round. A round brush is used to produce thin to thick lines and apply washes, fine detail, precise strokes. That's a rather large round. You can go quite smaller on that. That's a 10, but I wanted to show you what they look like. Next is a rigger or a script. See how long that bristle is? And that's because when you dip it, it's going to give you a nice amount of paint that you can do a nice long stroke with. For grasses, for branches, like if you're doing little branches, that kind of thing. Next is one of my favorite brushes. This is a chisel blender, and I only just discovered this brush recently. I use it for flat painting, but I also love how hard it is. Here, I'll put it on some black. I can do lines with this, beautiful. So if you're doing, like when I'm edging with black or something like that, I use this brush. It's firmer than a lot of the flats, and I just love it. Next is an oval mop. Now, a mop is used to do blending, to apply washes with. See how it looks on when it's going down? That's the effect you're going to get from it. So nice broad strokes with it. It also comes, you can get quite a bit smaller. There's a mini mop in it. Same idea again. Laying down and just softening edges with it, like say you want to blend in your colors, that kind of thing. Now we're into some specialty brushes. This one here is called a needlepoint, and see how fun that is? It's long, soft, it'd be very absorbent. Dip that in your paint, maybe in inks or in like a nice fluid, and you'd get beautiful lines with that. Love it, love it, love it. Another fun brush, this one's called a dagger. And see the angle on that? But it's still very fluffy. So really absorbent, great for water-based paints. You could do all, look at the shapes you can get off that. You just have to play with them. Another specialty brush is a rake. And if you compare that, it's a little bit different than a fan brush. See how it's just got more spaces? That's what's gonna affect when you're painting. And again, used for whatever you like, but good for grasses, adding texture, that kind of thing. A newer brush out is called a comb, and on the ends, it's very much like a rake or a fan is, but it's got the broad strokes, so you can get some really good strokes in there and thirsty, but it's got a raggedy edge. Love it. Another really wonderful brush is called, it's an oval mop, so good for laying down color, but see the shape of that? Isn't that fun? And fluffy, soft, yummy. And then we have a stepple brush. A lot of people use these for stenciling and that, but you can also do it with any other of acrylics or oils. I wouldn't do it with watercolor necessarily. It's done with hog bristle. But when you want to get that kind of effect going on, you'd use a nice, firm, heavy brush like that. So that's, I mean, there's a zillion other brushes out there, but that's a nice overlay of different kinds of brushes you can use and what you can use them for. Hope that helped you a little bit. Have a great day. Bye-bye.